Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting episode of Reby and Me and Me and Me and Me. Today, we're discussing the final installment of the engine failure at night as narrated by our friend here, G-Paw. I hope you enjoy it thoroughly, and with no further ado, here it is.
I was alone for 6 hours, and I was thinking, okay, what did you screw up? Did you forget to do a fuel sample? Did you roll the aircraft off? If I did, my co-pilot would hang me out upside down for the buzzards to pick. And so I went over and checked the fuel samples. Yes, I took one. Yes, I made all the entries in the logbook. And I put the logbook back in the aircraft, returned to my tent, and I stayed there. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the afternoon, the aircraft started up. I thought, what in the heck are they doing? So I walked over the top of this little ledge that I was on and looked down at the aircraft, and there it was running. There was another aircraft beside it. And it apparently, no, there was another aircraft. It was just that aircraft. And there was a Jeep beside it. And it ran up, and then it rolled back. And then it ran up, and then it rolled back. And it did that for, I don't know, an hour. And then it flew away, and I thought, oh, I have really screwed this pooch. And I'm going to, my career's over. Because I've probably damaged the aircraft, and it was really an emotional time. And about an hour after the aircraft flew away, a Jeep pulled up to my tent. And a grimy, dirty, crusty sergeant said, "Mr. Kingsley, the commander wants you." So I took my, whatever I had, I know I had my pistol, I can't remember what I had with me, and I rode with him about an hour and a half to where we were going to fly in 5 minutes that morning, and there was it was a commander's tent, and there was like a spare GP medium where we all were going to meet, and all the pilots were there, and I was sure I was going to be crucified, and I was just so wired. I was just absolutely stunned, and I walked up toward this tent, and the maintenance officer is named Vint Pham, a great kid. And he said, "Way to go, Dan!" And I reared back, and I wanted to knock him down flat. He said, "What the hell's the matter with you?" I said, "Vint, don't screw with me." He said, "Dan, you did a great job." I asked him if he was kidding and to quit screwing with me, and he could tell me the truth because I needed to know. And he said, "Okay, this is what happened. I flew in there, and I went to the aircraft and I started up. I had written up something in the logbook which said there was still fire in the engine, but the engine wasn't running." He said, "So I started with that." He says, "I got it cranked, it ran all the way up, and then it went back to flight idle, which means there's no power, it's just turning." And he said, lo and behold, the crew chief is a TI, he was technical inspector. He was back there tinkering with things in the department, and Vint was trying to read instruments, see what's going on. They inspected the aircraft, there's no damage. The TI, while he was tinkering, all of a sudden, the aircraft went below flight idle. So Vint yelled at him, and he climbed back up in there with a wrench, and he tightened a connection between the fuel governor and the bleed air system. Now, the fuel governor is connected to the bleed air system by a factory required torque. It is not allowed to be tinkered with in the field. But he had to fly the aircraft back, so the TI gave one good look at it, gave a grunt, and kind of tightened it to where he thought it'd be, and they flew back fine. And so I couldn't talk. I was trying not to cry. And Vint said, "Dan, Earth to Dan, come back to me." He said, "You're okay." He said, "You're going to get a broken wing for this." I said, "Nah, you are screwing me." He said, "No. The commander wants to get a broken wing because someone else crashed today and they were stupid." He says, "You saved this aircraft and you're going to be okay." And I said, well, we'll see how that works. Well, the brigade safety officer came to me and said, well, Dan, write up your own broken wing. I said, you're going to give me a broken wing? You write it yourself. So we did. And about 10 days later, I got that broken wing, and I was standing on this stage in front of all these aviators whose ego demand homage to the glorious savior of an aircraft. And the guy who loathed me, the commander, he was very, very sweet about it. And he was full of praise and gratitude, and of course we survived the aircraft. But after that, oh, and I forgot to tell you, I had a buddy of mine who went directly to a pay telephone at Yakima and said, first thing he said to my wife, he called my wife and said, don't worry, Dan's not dead. And that didn't go very well. So when it was all done, that broken wing was presented to me about a week later, and I knew the truth, that I was just a fraud. It was a very fortunate thing for me. And the Army has a very special place for broken wing. Broken wing is not an Army award, and it's not allowed to be worn on a uniform. But because it's such an important award from the Safety Center, they give you a little pin. It's about the size of a nickel, and every aviator who has one wears it on the back of his cap. And if there is one in the unit, everybody knows whose it is. We just can't help ourselves. And I still wear my damn broken wing on the back of my cap to this day.